Srinivasa Ramanujan, one of India's greatest mathematicians, was born in 1887 in Erode, Tamil Nadu, India. He is recognized as one of the greatest mathematicians of his own time. Srinivasa Ramanujan almost had no formal training in math. He was the second Indian to be inducted as a Fellow of the Royal Society, which is a fellowship of some of the world's most eminent scientists. He joined the fellowship in 1918 at the age of 31 as one of the youngest fellows in the history of society.
He compiled 3,900 results, which were mostly identities and equations. Before he lost his life at the age of 32, his infinite series for pi was one of his most celebrated findings. There is also a museum dedicated to telling Ramanujan's life story. This is located in Chennai. His birth anniversary, December 22, is celebrated as a National Mathematical Day every year. Ramanujan worked on a divergence series. He sent 120 theorems on implicit divisibility properties of the partition function.
He gave a meaning to Eulerian second integrals for all values of n, negative, positive and fractional. Ramanujan had made substantial contributions to the analytical theory of numbers and worked on elliptical functions, continued fractions and infinite fractions. And in 1990 he began to work on his own on mathematics, summing geometric and arithmetic series.
Kullback's conjecture is one of the most important illustrations of Ramanujan's contribution towards the proof of conjecture. The statement is that every integer greater than 2 is the sum of 2 prime. For example, 6 is 3 plus 3. Ramanujan and his associate had shown that every larger integer could be written as a sum of outmost. For example, 43 is equal to 2 plus 5 plus 17 plus 90.
Partition of whole numbers is another problem that captured Ramanujan's attention. Ramanujan also developed a formula for the partition of any number which can be made to yield the required result by a series of successive approximations. Ramanujan also studied the highly composite numbers, which is recognized as the opposite of prime numbers. He studied the structure, distribution and special forms.
Fermat theorem. Ramanujan also did considerable work on the unresolved Fermat theorem, which states that a prime number of the form 4m plus 1 is the sum of two squares.
1729 is the famous Ramanujan number. It is the smallest number which can be expressed as the sum of two cubes in two different ways. 1729 is equal to 1 cube plus 12 cube, and it is equal to 9 cube plus 10 cube.
Cubic equations and quadratic equations. Ramanujan showed how to solve cubic equation in 1902, and he went on to find his own method of solving quadratic equations.
Euler's constant. By 1904, Ramanujan had begun to undertake deep research. He investigated the series of 1 by n and calculated Euler's constant to 50 decimal places.
Hypergeometric series. Ramanujan also worked on hypergeometric series and investigated relations between integrals and series. He was to discover later that he had been studying elliptic functions. Ramanujan's own work on partial sums and product of hypergeometric series have led to major development in the topic.
Theories formulated by Ramanujan was recorded in the notebook of loose leaf papers. Since paper was very expensive, Ramanujan did most of his work on slates and wrote the final result in paper. A mathematician named Bruce C. Berndt once said, Ramanujan most certainly was able to prove most of his results, but chose not to record the proofs in his notes. Around 351 pages combined with 16 chapters was Ramanujan's first notebook. The second has 256 pages with 21 chapters and 100 unorganized pages. And the last and the third one consists of 33 pages. Ramanujan's work was inspired by G. N. Watson, B. M. Wilson and Bruce Berndt. The intuitive mathematician Ramanujan's life didn't last long. He was plagued by health disorders throughout his life. During 1917, he was diagnosed with severe tuberculosis and vitamin deficiency. In 1920, at the age of 32, the legend passed away by departing his great innovations and contributions towards the world of mathematics. Great personality Srinivasa Ramanujan and his contributions had whirled up the history of mathematics. Holding his benefactions with much content may offer his soul to smile from the infinite. On this occasion, let's remember the renowned mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan.